This is just a short film on how I approach doing my soap dishes and drawing and putting the equine forms on the soap dish and carving them. And on these ones, they're dark clay and they're slipped with white. And then over that, I will usually pencil in the sketch that I want to draw. Using just a regular graphite pencil, and it doesn't really matter if I make mistakes because in the bisque firing all of that graphite burns out anyway, so the only thing that will be left will be whatever colors I use for the horse. Usually it's a cobalt slip, so most of the time it's a blue horse. So here I'm just adding in the basic idea of what the form of the horse is. And then I come back in and I apply the cobalt slip. And cobalt, before it gets fired, they put an additive in it that makes it kind of a purplish pink. And that's so you can see it. I don't know what its natural form looks like. But so I put the slip on and I just kind of go over the actual form of the horse and filling it in. I don't work on it like it's an acrylic painting or anything like that. I'm just using it to block it in because of the way that the cobalt will fire. Sometimes you see the brush strokes and other times they kind of fill in. I go for kind of a bit of a watercolor effect. Real loose, mostly so you can see where my hand has been. And that's a pretty important thing for me when I do these drawings, that you see the mark of the hand. Which is why I also, when I draw the horses or other animals, I exaggerate. I'm not looking for complete renderings that are lifelike necessarily. I want some kind of style in there. I'm looking for things that look a little off, that are wabi-sabi. They're just slightly imperfect. They give it, to me, some character and some personality. So I'll go in and I'll fill in the color before I start actually carving. And on the dark clays, because it's a white slip, when I carve in, that carved line creates the cartoon. It creates the actual drawing of the horse. If this were a white clay, I would just carve the line in and you wouldn't necessarily see it. It would be bisque fired, that depression would be left, and then I would go back with a black underglaze and I would fill in those lines, and the cartoon would kind of appear. In this case, because it's a dark clay already, I simply have to carve into the slip on top and dig into the dark clay underneath. So these forms are kind of dry at this point, and as I carve, it just kind of powders up. I try to make my lines as gestural as possible. I try not to really think about it either. Honestly, I've been doing it so long that it just kind of comes out as I draw. I just kind of get into a flow and then let the figure of the horse or whatever animal sort of come out. The horses are the easiest for me because I've been drawing them the longest. New animals I'll sketch for a while and maybe pick one or two positions and just stick with that until I kind of get that muscle memory in my hand from drawing it repetitively. But the horses are just so automatic to me because I love them and I've been doing it for a very long time. So then, yeah, I just dust it off, and there it is, and it's ready to be bisque fired, and then it will be glazed with a clear glaze, and then it's done.